entries. General entries in the books of consigner, general entries in the books of consignee. We will discuss. Now, first transaction, goods sent on consignment by consigner. Consigner sent his goods to the consignee. So what will be the entry we have to pass in the books of consigner? What will be the entry we have to write in the books of consigner? So entry will be consignment account debit, consignment account debit to goods sent to consignment account. Consignment account debit to goods sent to consignment account. This particular entry we have to pass in the books of consigner. Now, when we have to pass this particular entry, whenever the goods sent by consigner to the consignee. Now, whenever this particular transaction made, what kind of entry passed by consignee? What kind of entry passed by consignee? So entry is not passed by consignee. We will not put any kind of entry, no entry in the books of consignee. Whenever the goods sent by on consignment by consigner. Then next is next transaction. Expenses incurred by consigner. Consigner is the owner. He has created expenses for the purpose of sending the goods to the consignee. So whatever expenses incurred, such expenses general entry we have to pass. So entry will be consignment account debit to cash or bank account. Consignment account debit to cash or bank account. This particular entry we will pass in the books of consigner. What kind of entry in the books of consignee? So entry will be no entry. We will not pass any kind of entry in the books of consignee. Then friends, next transaction, that is advance given by consignee. Advance means the money, advance money given by consignee after the sale or before the sale of the goods. So entry in the books of consignee. For that purpose, if it is advance given by the consignee, this particular advance, if it is by check, if it is by check, so entry will be bank account debit. Entry will be bank account debit to consignee's account. Bank account debit to consignee's account. This particular entry we have to pass in the books of consigner. In the books of consigner, we have to pass this particular entry. What about in the books of consignee? What will be the entry we have to pass? Whenever the advance is given by consignee by check, the entry will be consignor's account debit to bank account. Cash goes out and cash received. Cash received by consignor, the bank account debit. To whom to receive? It is received from consignee to consignee. Now here consignor account debit the receiver as per personal account rule. So here, consignor's account debit to bank account. I hope you understood this entry. Now we will move further. Whenever the advance is given by the consignee by bill, bill means they will draw the bill, bills of exchange you studied about. The bill draw. So consignor is a drawer and consignee is a drawee. So what kind of entry we have to pass in the books of drawer? Whenever the bill is drawn means it is drawn, bill is accepted by consignee. The consignee is a drawee. So here in the books of consignor, entry will be bill receivable account debit to consignee's account. And in the books of consignee, consignee is his drawee. The entry will be consignor's account debit to bill payable account. Consignor's account debit to bills payable account. So in the books of consignee, whenever the bill is drawn, advance received by consignee, entry will be consignor's account debit to bills payable account. Then friends, after recording these kinds of entry, next transaction, discounting of bill. You heard, you studied the bills of exchange. Whenever the bill discounted by bank, what will be the entry in the books of drawer and in the books of drawing? You know that you studied, you are aware about that. So first of all, in the books of consignor, in the books of consignor, entry will be bank account debit, discount account debit to bill receivable account. What about in the books of consignee? As usual, no entry. In the books of consignee, no entry whenever the bill discounted by bank. Then friends, next, goods returned by consignee. Now, if you see the first entry, whenever the goods sent, what was the entry? Whenever the goods sent, what was the entry? Entry was goods consignment account debit to goods sent or to consignment account. Whenever the goods return, the entry exactly opposite. Entry exactly opposite. So entry will be, it's very easy. Opposite entry we have to pass. That is goods sent to consignment account debit to consignment account. If you see the sent entry, consignment account debit to goods sent to consignment account. And what about the return entry? It is opposite. That is goods sent to consignment account debit to consignment account. What about in the books of consignee? What will be the entry we have to pass? No entry. When the goods return, that time consignee's account, we will not pass any kind of entry. Whenever the goods sent, also, whenever the goods sent, that time also we will not pass any kind of entry. No entry. Goods sent, the goods return, no entry. Goods sent, also not, no entry in the books of consignee. Next, goods sold by consignee. Whenever the goods sold, whenever this goods sold, so there are two things will happen. That is goods sold for cash and sometimes goods sold for credit. So first of all, we will discuss cash. So in the books of consignor, entry will be consignee's account debit. consignees account debit to consignment account. Consignees account debit to consignment account whenever the goods sold by consignee for cash. Whenever the goods sold by consignee for cash, entry in the books of consignee, cash or bank account debit to consignor's account. Cash or bank account debit to consignor's account. I hope you understood. Then after that, next entry for on credit basis when the goods sold by consignee on credit, the entry will be consignee's account debit to consignment account, and in the books of consignee, consignment debtors account debit to consignor's account. Consignor's debtors account debit to consignor's account. So friends, these are the entries we studied. There are many entries are there, but these are the entries which are important for our study purpose. I will keep this recording in our YouTube also. You have to see the lecture and what you have to do. Use your calculator, notebook for study purpose. Now what happened? Take one long notebook, write those entries we studied right now. All entries you have to see and study because these entries belong to in the books of consignor. These are the all entries belong to in the books of consignor and in the books of consignor. How many entries you should write here? One, two. Then in third again two write two entries, four. Then five. Then after that six, seven, eight. Eight entries you should write in your notebook in the books of consignor and in the books of consignor. Unless and until if you are not right, you cannot understand the general entry part. And then after studying the general entries, then we will discuss about how to prepare ledgers in the books of consignor and in the books of consignor that we will discuss. But right now, what you have to do, I will not take further entries. What you have to do, this particular video I will upload in our YouTube. You have to see the YouTube and write all general entries. Yes, do you have any doubt regarding the our lecture, any particular problem about the general entries? You can share with me in our chat box, or you can directly write any kind of query in our WhatsApp group also. See friends, I will not study directly the objective part because what happened, maybe next exam is the semester 2 exam, they will conduct by theoretical, practical and objective part also. So it may be conducted by college, and therefore you should prepare yourself and you should prepare the practical also. So most probably next lecture we will start the practical part. We will study the how to write the general entry in a particular transaction that we are going to learn. So what you do you have any doubt? If it is any doubt is there, you can ask. Yes, do you have any doubt? So I will stop here right now. You have to see the YouTube and write the all notes regarding general entries. Okay, friends, good night.